Welcome to Modern Musings, conversations with the maiden, mother, and crone. Looking at ourselves and the world through the lens of the 21st century. Hey there. Welcome back. I'm Kristen, your host today, with my co-hosts Amber and Cindy.
Hi.
Hey.
Today we are talking about setting new moon intentions and just what is the new moon and why is it important, or why should we even be talking about it, and what you can do during that time. So we kind of talked about it last week when we were introducing the topic. It's a little woo-woo, and also a little bit of goals girl. If you know what setting intentions are, that is
A
verbal
goalie thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like verbally or maybe like on paper stating what your intention is, which is what you intend to do or what you're
Making a
planning
plan.
to do. It's kind of like saying what your goal is, like I'm going to do this, right?
It gives you accountability.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you're also like kind of speaking it out to the universe and kind of setting it in motion. There's something about saying something out loud that kind of like turns on that little gear in your brain that makes it activated. So that's kind of like what we are talking about today. It's something that we've kind of like incorporated into like a ritual. And so I wanted to just kind of like discuss that. Most common thing that people are familiar with is the full moon, right? There's a lot of,
Lore.
thank you.
Yeah.
I was like, what's the word? It has some negative connotations because.
Very scientific connotations as well.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like
Well,
the tides and such.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and there's, all the people say, like, all the crazy people come out when the, full moon or, like, kind of
It's so
superstitious
true,
stuff,
though.
like,
It
about
is
bad
true.
luck.
So true.
I know
yeah.
people that work for
Like
9/11.
behaviors change during the full moon.
Well,
Yeah.
there are actual reasons for that because, the moon has a gravitational pull on the Earth and it affects our tides. So
yeah.
since we are like, 70% water or
Yeah,
something like that. I don't
Mhm.
remember what we are. It would make sense that it would affect our physical bodies as well. So,
Well,
Yeah.
as a teacher, like you can always tell when it's a full moon. Like
Yeah.
if the
I
kids
work
are
in a call
acting,
center, so.
if the kids are acting particularly crazy, I just kind of, because I have a moon chart on my planner, the one that I carry around with me. I open up my planner and I'm like, is it a full moon?
yeah, I had a friend who worked for 911 and she said the calls are crazy.
Oh,
during that
yeah.
time.
Definitely.
People who work in the emergency room,
I
nurses and
worked
stuff.
911 for like
Oh, yeah,
6
you did
months.
too,
Yeah,
yeah.
so definitely.
It really does happen. It's true.
Mhm.
So
Yep, the callers are always a little kooky and
yeah,
on
weird
full
things
moons.
happen.
Yeah. So there's the full moon, right? So the new moon is when you can't see the moon. It's
like the
basically
opposite
invisible.
of the cycle.
Yeah,
Mhm.
So
And then there's in between those times are the waning and the waxing moon. So we can
the
kind of
crescents, yeah.
talk about that as well. And so ultimately, the idea is that during the new moon, that's when you speak your intentions, and
it's a start. It's
the
a new.
following of the moon building up. That's when you're talking about what your intentions are, and so that has, like I said, it's kind of become like a ritual to do that, and just making it a point to do that. Even if I didn't do it because it was a new moon, I kind of like the idea that I've kind of set that in place to do it frequently. I think it helps me keep in touch with my goals.
Every 4 weeks, you're touching base with your intentions again. Whether you believe in the power of the moon or whatever, it's just a good habit. It is.
Yeah, it's nice little like alarm in the sky that lets me know like, hey,
Yeah.
it's time again. Reminder, So I was just curious if either of you have like particular rituals that you do during the new moon for setting intentions or anything else.
Well, I do a little I do some of my planning, some of my goals girl things. I try to tie those in to that same period because since it happens every 4 weeks, it's perfect timing for setting up the next month's planner. So really, I am setting intentions by creating my planner and setting those plans for that week. These are the goals I'm going to work on. These are the tasks I'm going to try to accomplish, things like that. And I also do something that we've mentioned before, which is called scripting, where I have a journal. And I journal, I have several journals, but this one happens to be a scripting journal. And in that, I script out the things that I intend to accomplish or do or make happen. And I try to put it in as much detail as I can. And, just it's all written out in paragraph form. And it really is a great way for me to just touch back to what my goals are, what my intentions are, just to recommit myself to those goals. And so that's what I like to do.
I generally, I don't go, I generally just kind of reevaluate my list of things that I need to do and my goals that I have for the week and the month. And I just kind of touch base with myself that way. Like, am I on the right track with what I need to do and what my goals are? And it's always like a new moon is kind of like a new start for me. So like if my goal is to lose like a pound or whatever in the week, which is a very doable goal, 1 or 2 pounds. Yeah. If, or for like 8 pounds a month or whatever, if you do 2 pounds a week, and like I get to that point and I weigh myself and I'm like, well, I only lost like 1 pound this month, and I look at it as like a new start. Well, today is a new day, a new month, a new moon. I can start over and push harder on my goals. And normally, like my monthly, weekly goal, like everything is always drink more water. And I know we did a whole podcast over that, tips to drink more water. And that's like my long-term goal always, is to get more hydration in my life, because I struggle with that so greatly. Drinking water, it's just a daily struggle for me. So, I have like a water goal for the day, a water goal for the week, so on and so forth. And it's and my body tells me if I'm not drinking enough water. Like the other day, I stood up from my desk at work and I had the worst leg cramp. And it was like an inner thigh leg cramp, which are the absolute worst. Yeah.
Because it's like, how do you get that out?
Yeah, it's hard. And then it hurts for days afterwards when I have one of those. And I'm just like, ugh. I need to drink more water. I need to drink more water. And of course, like whenever I'm having those, I like chug like it's magically gonna like. And so that's just like my reset. This month is gonna be, as always, drink more water, drink less coffee. And I think I've been doing like a pretty decent job of it, especially since I had that really bad leg cramp. It's just like a reminder every day, the pain in my leg, like drink more water. So I've been like, okay, I'm gonna drink water now, not coffee.
Do you use trackers? I use trackers.
I have an app on my phone, like a water. Okay. Well, it's
I've had
because
I've
been trying to like track my carbohydrates, especially since I have a doctor's appointment coming up. So I've been trying to track my carbohydrates and track my protein intake and track everything. So I use like the carb tracker on my phone, and it also tracks the water, and it hooks up with my Apple that tracks my steps.
Oh, yeah.
So it all hooks up together in one app, and it's called Carb Manager. So it tracks. I put everything that I eat in there, and it tracks my carbohydrates. It tracks my protein, and of course, you have to set preset goals and stuff like that. It tracks my water. It tracks my steps. It tracks everything all in one app. Like it tracks my fat intake. And I'm trying to give like something because I'm having a physical soon. So I'm trying to get like an idea of something that I can show my doctor.
Right.
Like this is what's
what
been
I've
going
doing.
on
Right.
in my life, and this is, like what can I do to change things? I mean, I already know a lot about nutrition and stuff like that, but like it's always good to check in with your doctor for a yearly physical.
Oh, yeah, and show them this is what I've been doing.
That kind of goes into what we're talking about next week about doctors, but we'll go into that later on. But yeah, it's like
No, go ahead.
But yeah, like it's a good way to track and keep your steps with life.
Yeah. Yeah, I use and we've talked about this before, with like Goals Girl and before when I was doing Cultivate What Matters or whatever. I have trackers in my planner and so that's part of my new moon ritual, if you want to call it that. Is that I will sit down and I have those trackers set up on my computer. I spent a lot of time developing those trackers first, but just tinkering with them and getting them to be functional in the way that I need them to be functional. And then now they're on there, and I can just open up Photoshop and put my planner pages in my printer and print it right out onto it. And so I have all those trackers there. So that's part of my intentions is these are the things I'm going to track. These are the things I want to pay attention to. And I have my regular planner that has all of my Goals Girls plan, my goals for the year and my daily and weekly and monthly tasks that I'm trying to accomplish. And then I also have a health tracker like you. Mine is on, it's a Happy Planner, health planner thing. And I've divided it out into different sections to track my blood sugars and my weight and my sleep and my steps and my meals and things like that. So, and though, that one is not as much an intention, but it is an intention. I do that around that same time because it is my intention to track those things.
Right.
And to, pay attention to those cycles and those progress there. So that is part of the intentions as well. So.
Yeah, I like pretty much for my new moon intentions, like kind of rituals, I just use like my scripting journal and I'll just write in that. Sometimes it's maybe just like a sentence or two because I don't get the opportunity to really like
think through everything.
Yeah,
right.
And like go through like a whole scripting ritual because sometimes that can take some time. Once you start getting in the flow of it, you're like, oh, I'm writing. Sometimes it's just like a sentence. I was at a wellness fair and it just happened to be on a new moon like a couple months ago, and they actually had like a jar. It was kind of cool. They had just a table set up with a jar and some little scrap pieces of paper for people to come by and write their new moon intentions. I thought that was really cool because that one, I really just gave that one to the universe because I walked away with my intentions on a piece of paper and I don't even remember what I wrote. So, I'm hoping that it'll come back and I won't even notice, that I manifested something.
Yeah. You were talking about you don't always have time to do it. And sometimes I don't have time either. But if I can, I like to try to meditate. Before I have a little meditation corner set up in my bedroom where it's really just my quiet place to kind of get away from the hustle and bustle of the house, and I'll turn on some music or some nature sounds or something that are just calming, and just close my eyes for a few and just relax before I start my scripting. And I don't always get to do that, but I do like to do that if I can, just because I want my brain clear. I want to be clear to myself on what my intentions actually are. I don't want to just give it lip service, because a lot of times we say, "Oh, I want to do this and I want to do that, and I'm going to exercise every day, and I'm going to cut out this many calories, and I'm going to get up at 6 o'clock every morning and go to bed by 10." And that, a lot of times I feel like that's lip service, because I know I'm not going to really do that. But so it's not really my intention. It's my hope, but it's not always an intention. So, so I like to do that little meditation so I can really get clear with myself what my real true intentions are. And I try to be very careful about them, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
like,
you're very mindful about the specifics.
right. And so, and that's why I say sometimes they're written out in lots of detail, because I want to be very specific about what I intend to do. And I might limit myself to one thing. It might be, this is what I intend to accomplish this month, this one thing or whatever, but it's very thought out. And so I like having the diffuser with some nice aromatherapy and the nice sounds, or maybe the little fountain my fountain broke, but I like having my little fountain going, and maybe a candle lit or something. I often light my St. Jude's candle because sometimes I feel like my intentions are a hopeless cause. So, come on, St. Jude, help me out here, But, it varies. It does vary. But I do like the idea of setting intentions, whether you believe in anything woo-woo happening with the moon or not. It really, sometimes it's just a prayer, I'm praying to God, this is what I really want to do, or whatever. So there's a lot of different ways you can look at it.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like it because it's cyclical. If you think about, what you can do during the moon, and I mean, you can go online and look all you want. There's so many different places, like people have like little infographics on what the different moon phases are, and some of them are wildly different too. So I think it's something you have to take with a grain of salt and pick and choose what you like,
and don't be afraid that this is something that goes against your Christian beliefs or anything either, because it's no different than getting up when the sun comes up and going to bed when the sun goes down.
Right.
I mean, really, it's
picking a certain day to do the laundry.
Right. It's just a cyclical thing.
Right. But in cyclical, like you could say, on the new moon, you set your intentions, and then after, the week remaining after that, you
actually
nurture yourself.
Yes.
And work on those particular things.
Yeah.
And then the full moon is the reflection of that.
And the gratitude for it. Yeah.
And then the building up unto the next time that you do it again.
Right.
So same thing like when you set a goal for the year, when it gets to the end of the year and you've achieved your goal, or you've gotten close to your goal, or maybe you haven't even gotten close to it at all, you still
but you reevaluate
it. Yeah.
And you acknowledge what you did accomplish. And you're great. You have some gratitude for that, and then you move on. Yeah.
And then some people might add a candle or whatever to it, and then it's a ritual or whatever.
Yeah, and those
and
rituals are no
meditation.
different than rituals, and meditation is no different than putting on a candle and some music and getting in your bathtub and soaking. Really, it's the same thing. So it's just a mood setter to get you in the mood
Yeah.
And,
And speaking of
or
that,
it can
so
be just a
if
mood
you
setter.
wanted to create your own new moon ritual, one of the really good things to do is to cleanse yourself. So take a bath, or take a shower, whatever, cleanse yourself, clean the space that you're going to be in too, and then take that time to do your meditation and then write out your affirmation or your intention, whatever it is that you're trying to manifest, and then sending that off into the world, whether
Some
put it in
people-
a book. Some people will put it on a piece of paper and burn it, or
Speak it out loud.
speak it out loud, and then you're done. That's it.
Yeah.
So you can make it as involved or not as you want.
Yeah. I like it. I like things like that because they feel a little sacred.
Yes.
So that I'm honoring this this activity, but without stepping on any toes of my faith or doing anything, because I've said this before, I identify as a follower of Christ. And so I like to be very careful about the rituals and the things that I do specifically that are to do them in such a way that it honors my Christianity and it honors my faith, and that it does not go against that. And that's why one of these I think is very much setting your intentions by the moon or whatever, being a cyclical is definitely not in any way contrary to those beliefs. So you can set beliefs and you can set intentions and plans, and you can do that mindfully with prayer or whatever. So it's really no different. And I like that it's what you make out of it. It's, if you want to say that it's the power of the moon that's making your stuff work for you, more power to you. If you want to say, I'm putting this out there out loud to God, then that's fine too. It's up to you. It's a very personal thing, I think.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. Without getting too religious about it,
Right.
I really don't want to get, but I know that there are a lot of people who feel very hesitant about those things, because when I first started doing some of these practices, I felt that way too, because I went from, being a fully, oh my gosh, you can't read tarot cards and stuff like that because that's wrong, to being, it's all in what you do with it. It's all in what your intentions are.
Mm-hmm.
And how do those intentions work with your beliefs? And so if you believe that you are speaking to God, then that's what you're doing.
Right. Have you ever missed a new moon and then you were like, oh, well, this month is a waste?
Yes, I have done that. Totally. And we were just having this conversation not that long ago about
Full moon?
full moons, and because I like to do some things with the full moon, and I was like, I missed it and I forgot. And yeah, well, okay.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. If you miss the new moon, you can still set
You
your
have a little bit of
intentions.
time.
Yeah.
You still can set your intentions with or without that moon. Yes. And, just do it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. You can set intentions anytime.
Yes,
So.
I think so too.
You don't have to be stuck to the construct of the moon.
Yeah.
Honestly, I probably miss it like every month. Even if Cindy sends out a reminder,
Hey,
don't forget to
Set your
your
intentions.
intentions. And
I
I'm
do
like,
sometimes.
okay, I'm going to do that. And then I don't.
Yeah.
Because you intend to do them, and
Then you don't.
Yep,
Mhm.
pretty much.
You should set your intention that you will.
Actually
Intend to
do it.
intend.
Next month, I will actually do a new moon ritual instead of just saying that I'm going to.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I do like doing it though because it just makes me feel like I'm still paying attention to. Like I said, it's that whole idea. It just brings me back to focus. And I keep saying it, but that's what it does. It brings me back to focus on my goals. It reminds me that I have these goals and that these are the focus of what I'm trying to do. Because, you know, if I set goals at the first of the year, you know, I get to March and 15 other things have happened to me that have derailed me from those goals, right?
At least.
At least 15 other things. And so I like having that thing that pulls me back to it and refocuses on those goals. Because then it's like, oh, well, in the grand scheme of things, this other thing
Right.
that happened, it was a blip. And I took care of it, and now I'm back to this.
Right.
I'm back to
Well,
looking at
and
my
even
goal.
if you're the type that doesn't set goals, maybe you just live every day on the fly, right?
Which I know people who do that.
So you could even just say, well, this month I'm going to be focusing on just living in the moment.
Yeah.
That you're setting your intentions. That's what I'm going to do. I'm dedicating that in my mind. Like, I am in agreement. I'm in alignment with that. And that's what I'm going to do. So,
And then do it. Yeah.
yeah. And I think that's totally okay because that's just kind of checking in with yourself and making sure, like, your body and your mind and your soul are going in the same direction.
Right. Well, and you know what, like my word of the year this year is light. And one of my intentions that I reset every month is to remember to be light, to feel the light, to look for the light, to be the light. So that technically is one of my intentions that I set. Just be light. Because I forget to do that.
I forgot. What was your word this year, Amber?
Serenity.
So
to
you
be
next,
calm.
yeah. So you could set your new moon intentions, and I don't like waiting until the new moon to actually like.
No, I
speak my
think about it
intentions.
before.
I kind of like build it up, so
I
that's
do
what
too.
you might do. That way, it doesn't catch you off guard, Amber. If you ever wanted to like jump into the, jumping rope while it's going. It's just like, think about it. You could do one that involves your word and just like say, for this month I'm going to do
Okay.
this with my word. But then that gives you like from,
Gives you 28 days.
to think about it. Yeah.
28 and a
True.
half days or whatever it is. Yeah.
And then when that day actually comes, you just say it out loud and boom, you did
You
it.
did it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's a thought. Yeah,
There's-
for sure.
There's a lot of, it could be, your intentions could also be just looking ahead
Mhm.
at the next month. Kristen and
Oh,
I,
looking at your day planner.
looking at your day planner, Kristen and I on Sundays, we do our planning together, and we always look ahead, a month ahead at what family activities we have going and whatever. And so you could do that technically on that new moon or any time, but that's a good time to look ahead at the next month. What things are coming up on the horizon. That way you're prepared for those things and you're not just like the week of Christmas going, oh crap, Christmas is next week and I haven't bought any gifts. Or, oh, we're going on vacation next week and I haven't even thought about packing or whatever. If you're looking that month ahead, that's coming up and you can be mindful of, you're just taking care of business.
So here's a couple of other things that you can do during your new moon intentions that aren't goal setting, or you may not have thought about setting your monthly budget.
Oh yeah,
So
that's a great
if
intention.
the new moon is is at the beginning of the month. Sometimes it's a little too late for that current month, but you can get a head start on the next month.
Right.
Or if it's close to the end of the month, as time goes on, the new moon and the full moon fall at different times of the month. So,
Because our months run 30 and 31 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so setting a budget, making plans with a friend, or maybe picking out a date to go have lunch with somebody.
Yep.
Another one is your meal planning, grocery
yeah.
shopping.
Yeah.
Not the actual act of shopping. Well, I guess it is. If you're buying the groceries, you're intending to.
Right. To cook those items. Yeah.
So that's a good time for those things. If you do bulk kind of stuff, or planning your month's meals out ahead of time.
Or that pre-cooking, people that cook a whole bunch of meat
Meal
all at
prep,
once. And,
yeah. Another one that's really good is planning your vacation. Actually setting out the destinations and things like that.
Yeah,
that
making
you're
your
gonna
hotel
do.
reservations. Yep. Things like that. Yep.
So, because those are the intention of actually going to that hotel by making the reservation.
Right. Well, and really technically the intention part would be the, writing down your list of this is where I want to do, this is what I want to do, the itinerary and stuff. And then the following week when you have your waxing moon, that would be when you actually follow through and make the steps. The steps, yes.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what I was wanting to add into it, was the waning and the waxing. So, and that's whenever, the second half of that after the full moon is when you're banishing, getting rid of things, trying to kill old habits, things like that.
Finish things off, yeah.
So, if you have a project in mind, that's a really good time frame. It gives you 4 weeks to complete a project.
Yeah, absolutely.
Based on if you started and then finish it. So I am challenging. I know we're always challenging each other. I feel like this year we've been challenging. We've got make your bed. We did, handmade gifts last year at the end of the year.
I failed at the make your bed.
Me too.
Totally failed at
it. I know. And my intention was to take a picture every time I did it. And then I didn't even do it. I was so bad. I think I stopped making my bed during the Make Your Bed challenge. So I need a redo on that one. So it might be
that's okay
April.
too. You can do that.
Yep.
You absolutely can.
So, but I'm challenging you to create your own new moon ritual. Just something that you do for yourself during the new moon. It could be maybe going and having a fancy coffee, or
I intend to have some me time. Yeah.
Or that hot bubble bath, or it's a self-care thing.
Yeah. Because that stuff's important.
Yep.
Very important.
So, and the whole idea of the ritual is that it's something that you do that you hold above other things. You do it methodically, but with intention, and it becomes
mindful.
Sacred.
It's mindful and it becomes sacred because it's something that you have set aside for that activity. Yeah.
Like making your coffee every morning. If you do that with intention to make it specifically the way you like it, that is a ritual.
Right.
Because those of you who are coffee drinkers, you gotta have it every day. So.
And it's got to be a certain way.
Or taking your makeup off and washing your face at nighttime. That's your skincare ritual. So I'm challenging you to make your own new moon ritual, whatever that may be, and sharing it in the comments or posting it on our
MMC chat.
MMC chat. And I'd like to see what you guys come up with. Pictures or it didn't happen, right?
Picture it didn't.
We would like to thank Red Door Studios and Creative Audio Tech for our gear and music. And, of course, our listeners, thank you so much for coming back every week and enduring our quirkiness.
Yeah. That's what we're
And,
calling it today.
what are we talking about next week? What's our quirky conversation next week?
Next week, we're actually talking about something that Amber brought up earlier about going to the doctor and stuff. But we're talking about MDs, medical doctors, versus DOs, which are osteopaths, doctors of osteopathy. And we'll talk about what the difference is, because some people don't know what the difference is. And I'm going to save that later. And we'll probably go into a few other little differences as well of different kinds of doctors. So I think it's important for people to know what different kinds of doctors do. And so that's what we're going to talk about, what their methodology is, what their different practices, just the different ways that they treat patients. Yeah, that they deliver medicine. So it's I think it's going to be interesting, and we'll talk about that next week.
Looking
Sounds
forward
good.
to it.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Well, thanks again, and we'll catch you then.
Bye.
Bye.